good afternoon, and welcome back to LJ News. I have an artwork adorning my bedroom wall, a folk rendition of the Virgin of Guadalajara, her Balahad, velvet swathed visage surrounded by a hot pink background festooned with sun rays, roses, and generous amounts of glitter. To me, it represents all that is beautiful about Mexico: its vibrancy, passion, faith, and the unchained embrace of kitsch. This oft-derided country of south of somewhat domineering neighbor is seductive in so many ways, from its geographic extremes to its flavor-packed cuisine, brain-numbing beverages, and its joyful, discordant music. Its culture, unwavering in defiant bravado, is a raucous celebration of life and beyond. The intangible as good as an excuse for fireworks as any, while standards of physical beauty are turned on its mono-borrowed head, with artists, cripples, and revolutionaries claiming the mantle of superheroes and celebrities. I first fell under the spell of this glorious mosaic of a country of its Caribbean coastline, where blinding palm-lined shores are lapped by a jewel-boxed turquoise sea overseen by crumbling ancient pyramids. Steps away, a snow of jungles conceals labyrinthine pools of unfathomable wonder, while further inland, colonial towns retain their whitewashed serenity, donkey hooves clip-clopping around cobblestone laneways. In fact, so evocative are Mexico's hilltop villages that many have been officially designated Pueblos Mexico, magical towns. One of these mystical beauties, Valle de Bravo, a lakeside vision 150 kilometers southwest of Mexico City, founded by Franciscan monks in the 16th century, lures me back time and time again to join horseback vaqueros riding along pine-scented trails, through cactus-strewn farmland and into secret groves where endangered monarch butterflies whisper. Here, I'll join a communal table of dear friends, salted margarita glass in hand, to feast on the wine and chili-infused bounty of paddock and sea. Generosity and servings matched by effusive hospitality and boundless laughter. Ironically, in this verdant Bougainville Chote garden, I have faced my mortality more than once, during a terrifying earthquake, and by the excruciating sting of El Alacran, the scorpion. Somehow, these near brushes with death only serve to tighten my bond to this complex country. Its dangers as essential as a part of Mexico's alia as its breathtaking landscapes. I'm sitting in the sunshine at Cafe Florin in Venice's St. Mark's Square, pretending to be here for the gorgeous little almond top and thimble of rocket fuel ristretto in front of me, soft and worldly, but in fact I'm gobsmacked. Around me is the world's most dazzling square, the yardstick of urban pulchritude, bordered by long colonnades of arches in Palestrin limestone, an elaborate opera set for the thousands who pour in. At the far end, the facade of St. Mark's Basilica is a giddy, ornamented fusion of Byzantine and Western art, bearing witness to the Venetian taste for splendor, power, war, and loot. The square has barely changed since Canaletto painted it, again and again, almost 400 years ago, and unchanged because you can't prove on such perfection. Italy excels in such moments, as well as the sublime cities, the medieval Umbrian hill towns ringed by olive groves, the gelato-colored mound of Positano rising from the sea, the sculpted alpine valleys and cloud-piercing peaks of the Dolomites. There is an Italian ingredient that transforms its scenic wonders into experiences. Portofino is arguably the most gorgeous fishing village on the planet, a tiny harbor that curves around like a tortellini with a cobblestone piazza ringed by houses painted in amber, yellow, cream, and terracotta. Yet despite the yachts in the harbor and the floating Armani pop-up, what you might remember is your late afternoon espresso in the piazza, interrupted by a woman leaning from the windows above, taking in her washing and loudly telling Fabio to quit playing football and come home for dinner. Italy also has its warts. It can be gritty, grotty, abrasive, and abusive. Whole of country elegance is a big ask. Naples is a city falling apart, exhausted, unkempt, stained with grime and graffiti. Mad, bad, and dangerous by repute, Naples sits a long way down on the travel hot lists. yet overlook the squalor and decay, sail it in with open mind, and Naples is one of the most passionate, authentic, and likable of all Italian cities, Venice and Grand Cafes included. If it is good looks you are after, head straight into Appiana Beach. Stand on that wide stretch of white sand looking at the sun shimmering on the sea while strains of samba drift past and Brazilians of all ages throw themselves into the beach lifestyle as only Brazilians can. And the overall effect is dazzling. It is not just Ipanema, of course. Brazil has plenty of other beauty spots, from the natural, the thundering falls at Iguacu, the giant water lilies that float on the Amazon River, to the manufactured. For me, however, the beauty of a destination is about more than just aesthetics. The most beautiful moments are often tied into a sense of the unexpected, and in a country as large as Brazil, there is always something unexpected waiting around the corner. On my first visit, before the internet put a world of travel information at our fingertips, while I was down hopping in the country's northeast, I told a local that my next stop would be the colonial town of São Luís. Fantastic. You'll love Lençóis Maranhenses, they assured me. Now, I never heard of Lençóis Maranhenses National Park, but I promptly found a local travel agent and booked a day trip. And it remains one of my favorite spots in Brazil. A series of white sand dunes rises unexpectedly from a flat plain, rainwater gathering from the inner folds between the dunes to form otherworldly swim spots. It's a miraculous landscape that looks like nothing I've seen anywhere else, and that makes it all the more beautiful. It would probably be right at the top of my list of beautiful places in Brazil if Salvador de Bahia didn't exist. The capital of the sun-drenched state of Bahia, Salvador's colonial center is always ready for its close-up, with those pastel-painted walls and photogenic cobblestones belie its dark, not so beautiful past as Brazil's key slaving port. Geysers shoot water high into the air. Underground ice caves make you feel you have been transported to another planet. You can stroll by the sea and swim at the black sand and the weathered basalt columns at Rainhas Fishara Beach, or cruise on the ice-studded Jocosaulen Lake, or marvel at the midnight sun, or on the dazzling northern lights. Southeast Asia's only landlocked country is about laughing children playing on eroded riverbanks, fishermen casting hand-knotted nets, terraced fields of rice tumbling down hillsides. But it's in the world's heritage-listed royal city of Luang Prabang that Laos' cultural and spiritual glory dominates, with the vision of saffron-swathed monks making silent progression past ornate, gilded temples. A nation consisting of 17,000 volcanoes and rice terrace-dominated tropical islands could hardly fail a beauty test. Sumatra has emerald rainforest, waterfalls, and crater lakes. Komodo features biscuit brown cliffs, ragged mountains, and pink sand beaches. Flores has crumpled coastlines and more lakes of improbable paint chart colors. And we haven't mentioned Bali. Canals lined with plane trees, the chateaux along the Loire Valley, Normandy's Mont Saint-Michel, the fairy tale village of Saint-Cric-la-Popie in the department of the Lot, the provincial street markets, and the cafes in little squares beneath shuttered houses with the pattern of time spelled out on their rough facades. In 1,000 different ways, France will steal your soul. Outrageous natural beauty abounds in New Zealand, from the Bay of Islands in the north to the south coast of the South Island, via rolling green hills and shimmering lakes, alpine peaks and deep valleys, geysers, hot springs. Then there's the aerial descent into Queenstown, across the snow-capped Southern Alps, over Lake Wakatipu, wingtips almost touching emerald hillsides. Its coastline is jagged with skeletons of sunken ships and reefed for its entire length by desert. Yet steel colonies flip-flop on desert beaches, lines are traced pale against flaxen sandbanks, gemsbok horns protrude above pillowy dunes, and ethereal rivers flowing like quicksilver through the world's oldest living desert. There are the showstoppers, Uluru and the Kimberley, the Daintree and the Great Barrier Reef, and then there are the quieter beauty spots we're still discovering, like the lush Sunshine Coast hinterland or the bushwalking trails of South Australia's Ikara Flinders ranges. Add to these First Nations guides sharing deep knowledge of country, and you've got something worth staying home for.